All right, let's get going here. All right, so good evening, everybody. Thank you and for joining the Wealth Mindset and Real Estate Investing virtual meetup. My name is Chris Price. I'm the host of the Wealth Mindset and Real Estate Investing virtual meetup. I'm also a managing partner at Boost Capital Group, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Red Fox Multifamily. Before we get into the presentation, which is going to be focused on real estate cash flow strategies for financial independence and specifically a new offering or investment that we will be launching at Boost Capital Group, I want to bring to you a brief note from the sponsors of Wealth Mindset and Real Estate Investing. But first, let me give you a little bit of background about wealth mindset and real estate investing for those of you joining us for the first time, or for those of you who are catching us on the recording and don't know much about the meetup. Let me give you a little detail on this. So the wealth mindset and real estate investing meetup is open to all who are interested in growing generational wealth through passive real estate investing and increasing their financial intelligence. This meetup is for the busy professionals and retirees across various industries. The individuals in the group make a good living and have discretionary income to invest in real estate for its proven wealth building power, but don't have the time, skill set, or network to do it at speed and at scale. This meetup focuses on helping us all grow our wealth mindset inve- by learning how to build and preserve wealth while developing and maintaining an abundance mindset. This meetup will focus on multifamily real estate investing as well as other proven ways to build wealth through real estate passive investments. And as it relates to our sponsors, one of our sponsors is Red Fox Multifamily. Red Fox Multifamily helps pharmaceutical and life science industry professionals diversify their portfolios, add passive income, and get all the other perks of real estate investing without having to do any of the work themselves. Red Fox Multifamily partners with passive investors to buy commercial multifamily real estate based on vetted opportunities we get access to from our trusted network of operators in the best markets throughout the country. Partnering with Red Fox Multifamily makes investing in real estate completely hands off, allowing investors to add passive income and build equity and save on taxes, all while being in an investment vehicle that is backed by a hard asset. And we are also sponsored by Boost Capital Group. Boost Capital Group's vision is to become the premier partner for busy professionals and entrepreneurs seeking to build and preserve their wealth through passive real estate investments. So, in terms of the logistics for tonight, for those of you who have not joined us before, just a little bit of a breakdown here. Please mute your lines when you're not speaking. If you can, hold your questions to the end of the presentation. The presentation is being recorded, so please take note of that. This material does not constitute an offer or a solicitation to purchase securities, and please note that this is information only and should not be construed as business, financial, or legal advice. And as I always say, for those of you who are joining either live or online in the recording on YouTube, please do reach out to me and connect. I love speaking with people, connecting on real estate, learning about your investment. Interest and what you're trying to accomplish to see if we may be, the right fit to help you on that journey when it comes to alternative investing in real estate. So please do reach out to me. And just in terms of what we're going to get into today, I'll give you a little bit of an introduction, and then I'm going to dive right in to the presentation, and then we'll, of course, take a few questions from anyone that may have them. And of course, if there's time at the end, we can do some virtual networking. So let me talk to you a little bit about what we have going on at Boost Capital Group, specifically within the Boost Wealth Fund. And we're calling this HYPE, or High Yield Private Equity. And our investment partner for this particular investment offering is Hornet Capital. So let me give you a little bit of a breakdown here to what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk a little bit specifically about cash flow strategies to accelerate financial freedom, specifically through this high yield private equity fund that we have going on. We want to help you understand how to build wealth and passive income through real estate investing, particularly through this fund, and think about this as smart investment decisions that can help you pave the way to financial security. So, in short, what is HYPE? Again, high yield private equity is what we have deemed this nickname, but it's secured short-term private lending fund that finances real estate rehabs, new builds, and land development projects. It is a high yield short-term investment vehicle designed for strong returns with asset-backed securities. So we'll get into the specifics of this in just a moment. But for those of you who are just joining, I want to make sure that I can hit you really early with what this is going to be about so that you can understand a little bit more. So when it comes to HYPE, we're talking about short-term, high yield returns. Loans are typically repaid within a year, providing fast reinvestment opportunities and liquidity. We're looking at asset-backed securities. So your investment is secured by real estate assets, and that is aimed at reducing risk. We're looking at exclusive market focus. So we'll talk a lot about Austin, Texas today, which is where we're targeting, where this particular investment opportunity is focused, which is a high growth market that aligns very much consistently with the types of markets that we focus on, that's leveraging deep market intelligence for strategic lending. And then, of course, we want to look at the bonus real estate upside here, where there in some of these cases that we'll take a look at within some of the case studies, these are repossessed assets and that are acquired below market value, and they also create, just really solid wealth building potentials and or opportunities, I should say, for those who are seeking to understand how this particular investment works. And so we'll get into those details here in just a moment. But what we're talking about here is really looking at an opportunity that helps for whether you're a seasoned investor or someone who's just starting on this journey. This is a valuable education on passive income strategies and strategic insights into real estate investing, and ultimately being able to be in a room and network with other like-minded individuals. So let's go ahead and dive deeper into how HYPE can help you reach your financial goals. And so I must actually state this to make sure that everyone is aware in terms of our general disclaimer. So this business plan contains confidential information. Unauthorized use is prohibited. It is for informational purposes only and not a securities offering or a solicitation. Information is believed to be reliable but not guaranteed. Investors must conduct their own due diligence. Investing does involve risk, and significant risk, and involves and investors should also consult legal and tax advisors. The SEC has not approved the securities or offering materials. Securities have transfer and resale restrictions. Forward-looking statements are based on assumptions and subject to change. No obligation to update them. And then finally, from a financial disclaimer perspective, financial projections are based on assumptions and are not guaranteed. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Actual results may differ from projections, so no warranties or assurances are provided. So wanted to make sure that we can get all of that disclaimer information laid out for you to present to you the highlights of what it is that we're talking about here when it comes to this particular investment opportunity that we're introducing with respect to HYPE. So first and foremost, we're talking about short-term lending on real estate rehabs and developments. We're talking about returns that are 9% annually on invested capital, and we'll break that down in a little bit. And then, the minimum investment here that we are providing for investors is for accredited investors is $25,000 investment minimum, and reinvest the profits seamlessly from from your other boost investments. For those of you who are already invested in our fund, you can easily roll some capital into that. If you're new to our fund, it's easy to get set up and to invest in this opportunity as well, which we'll talk a little bit about later. And then finally, as I mentioned before, the investment market, we're talking about Austin, Texas here, which is a top growing U.S. metro. And I'll share a little bit about why that is and how it has been for some time now. So let's give you a little bit of the executive summary here in terms of what we're facing, all of us, from an investment standpoint. So essentially, the problem is, that the bank account interest rates are low. And so according to Bankrate, as of February 2025, this month, in fact, where we're talking about this particular opportunity, interest rates for savings accounts range for anywhere from 1% to 5% APY, depending on the account and the bank. And when we talk about stock market volatility, as of today, literally today, stocks plunge as Nvidia stock earnings spark tech sell-offs, and investors digest the latest news on tariffs, according to the most recent report from Investopedia. And then when it comes to those who are invested in crypto and those types of digital currencies, according to the Economic Times, the crypto market, as of February 26th, 2025, saw significant fluctuations as Bitcoin prices dropped below $89,000, while some altcoins surged. The global crypto market cap stood at 2.94 trillion, marking a 3.6% decline in the last 24 hours. Current cryptocurrencies like Ethereum and other major cryptocurrencies also witnessed price shifts impacting investor sentiment. And then in terms of our core business and what we focus on when it comes to real estate investing, specifically value add multifamily real estate or value add opportunities as it relates to self storage and some of the other traditional investments that we still very much believe in and still very much invest heavily in, are always evaluating deals. We do know that particular investment does essentially provide, it takes a little longer than for those types of investments to really pay out the total return. We're talking, of course, yes, they provide cash flow, but the real big benefit and payoff occurs when we sell or refinance the property later on in the deal. And so we've gotten feedback from investors that they want to be able to have access to other investments that pay more steady cash flow, higher cash flow more frequently. And so we wanted to respond to that with this type of offering that we're talking about today. So our solution to this is to provide opportunities to invest in real estate assets with competitive interest rates greater than the bank savings accounts that they're offering today. We also want to make sure that we keep this focused on low volatility. Investors are seeking low volatility. They do not want to see their investment dollars, bouncing all over the place. Yes, they have some investments that they are willing to expose to those things, but we want to be in that position where for investors seeking stability and lower volatility, we want to be in that space to help them provide a solid return with lower volatility. And we're also looking at opportunities where our money is secured by real estate, in particular, that is our core focus. So real assets and investing in real assets is something that is of high importance to us when we think about alternative investing. And of course, we're looking at investments with shorter hold periods. So the opportunity here really is to be able to provide investment opportunities where you can invest in short-term debt opportunities that, as I mentioned before, that are focused on Austin, Texas, which has been a top real estate market for years. And in fact, has been the fastest growing large metro area in the United States for the past decade. Okay, so this is a tremendous opportunity that we have to invest in the top, real estate market in the country. And as I mentioned before, this is looking at a minimum investment of $25,000 for investors seeking solid returns for that idle cash that you have laying around that in fact is losing to inflation. There's an opportunity to get that money to work for you at a 9% clip on an annual basis. So that's something that we want to make sure that folks really can understand when it comes to this. So let me tell you a little bit about us from the Boost Capital Group team, so that you can really have a solid understanding of the team that you work with. We understand that of course when we present these things, we have many new people, and we also recognize that we have a number of folks that watch the recording that may not be familiar with us, watching us on YouTube, or this has been passed to them in some way and they're just learning about it. So I like to take a little bit of time to help everyone understand a little bit about who we are. And so from a Boost Capital Group perspective, our management team and leveraging our unique skills and expertise and abilities coming together to bring value to our investors is what we're focused on. And in fact, we believe that our diverse expertise and unified vision is something that is actually a unique and a real value proposition, not only for us, but for the investors that we work with on a daily basis. So Jeff, for example, his leadership and service and integrity. Jeff is a U.S. Marine Corps veteran with a strong foundation in discipline and leadership and service. And he brings a mission driven approach to real estate, ensuring professionalism and trust in every deal. He's committed to building lasting relationships and delivering high quality investment opportunities. And Philippe he has a tremendous background, and his focus is on engineering and risk management and optimization. But his background in aviation and mechanical engineering, specializing in complex project execution, is something that is a true strength for him. He has deep expertise in risk management, systems optimization, and due diligence for sustainable investments. And he's also skilled in budget management and strategic planning, ensuring efficient property development and asset performance. And for me, my background coming from the pharmaceutical industry, with respect to strategy and operations and investor relations, I have a deep level of experience in process optimization and content management. I have proven ability to lead large scale projects, streamline operations, and enhance team performance. And I'm also, very much passionate and an expert in stakeholder engagement and relationship management, ensuring that seamless investor experience. So together with all of our skills combined, our expertise in leadership and risk management and operations and investor relations creates a powerhouse team committed to delivering exceptional value and strong returns. And our investment partner, I want to share with you a little bit about, who Hornet Capital is. But what you guys need to know about Boost Capital Group is that due diligence is embedded in everything that we do. This is especially true when it comes to the investment sponsors we work with, and in fact, we choose to work with, to partner with and bring to our investors. And so let's tell you a little bit about Brian Witten, who is the CEO and founder of Hornet Capital. So Brian is a real estate investor and former fighter pilot. He has a military background and leadership. And so he's a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy. He is a former FA 18 Super Hornet fighter pilot, launching from aircraft carriers once upon a time. He's traveled the world serving and protecting the country. He also got into real estate in 2008, 2012 time period, and he became a licensed realtor in 2008, which was it's actually a very tough time to become a licensed real estate person. And when you think about it, Brian also had a situation here where he identified market opportunities while serving clients. He successfully executed fix and flip projects and transitioned from active duty in 2012 to focus on real estate full time. And so he's been scaling and investing in Austin for many years. He relocated to Austin, in fact, and built a strong investor network specialized in flipping properties, private lending, and partnerships. And he delivered above market returns for investors. And in 2018, he founded Capital, which he's built a $60 million equity fund. And he now has a 12-member management team with expertise across the real estate spectrum, with specialties in development and capital raising and project management and private lending and deal validation and more. And so, now we've been working with Brian for some time, and we have the opportunity to bring this opportunity to our network of investors and his company and their expertise in this market to really position them with a great investment opportunity that can help them deliver strong cash flow. But let's talk a little bit about the Austin, Texas market in particular. As I mentioned before, it is a top real estate market. So Austin, as I mentioned earlier, is if it's not the fastest, it is one of the fastest growing large metros areas in the United States, attracting new residents and businesses all throughout. The city has experienced significant job and population growth in recent years, driving demand for housing and commercial real estate and residential real estate throughout the city. Renowned companies like Tesla and Apple and Google and Oracle have established a strong presence in Austin, Texas, contributing to the thriving job market. And Austin's population has grown by approximately 33% in the past decade, reflecting the city's appeal as a desirable place to live and work. So this is is a key factor when we talk about where we want to invest from a real estate perspective. We want to be focused in markets that are growing markets, and markets with diverse industries and diverse economies, and we want to be focused on places where the population and the economic factors are all trending in our favor, and those are the ingredients, if you will. Job growth, population growth, and a demand for all that housing. These people, this 33% increase over the past 10 years, these folks have to live somewhere. And so when you think about the ingredients that make a strong real estate investment market, these are the key areas that we want to be looking at in particular, and why some of the key reasons we believe that, and we know that Austin, Texas is a strong market to invest in. So when we look a little bit more into Austin in particular, it Austin is a rapidly growing real estate market, and Hornet specializes in financing a variety of projects in the market, including things like remodels and new builds and land development opportunities. Hornet also works with alternative assets in select markets beyond traditional real estate, just to note as well. Their loan offerings include hard money, gap lending, and bridge loans, which can be tailored to different projects needs depending on what the needs of the investors are looking for. The average loan size is around $800,000, but They work with a wide range from anywhere from 200K up to $8 million. So typically loan terms are anywhere from 6 months to 2 years with a 2% origination fee and a 12% interest rate. The majority of their loans are secured by first or junior lien positions, making up about 3% of our overall of their overall portfolio. And this sort of flexible financing can help power growth and development in the Austin market. So, and then one last thing that I want to make sure that I point out here is that about 80% of the investment portfolio is in short-term loans. So the Hornet identifying potential borrowers and lending to them to help them develop these assets throughout the market that they're focused on in Austin. So let's talk a little bit about what their process is from a loan approval perspective. So the lending or loan approval process involves several key steps to ensure a successful outcome for both the borrower and the lender. So first and foremost, they assess the borrower's financial track record, including their credit history and income stability. And this ultimately helps them understand their ability to repay the loan. After that, they ensure the property meets their lending criteria through a thorough appraisal and inspection process that they have. This allows them to verify the property's value and condition. And then finally, they evaluate the borrower's plan for repaying the loan at the end of the term. This helps them understand their long-term strategy for managing the debt. So by following this comprehensive multi-step process, they can make well-informed decisions and set both the borrower and the lender up for success when it comes to their lending practices. So let's talk a little bit about the real estate that we are that they're targeting here. So when it comes to the real estate assets, this is obviously a key part of their investment portfolio, which comprises, as I mentioned before, of about 20% of their total assets. So they focus on acquiring and managing properties in Austin, Texas. And this market, as I mentioned before, and I'll continue to harp on this because it's such an important point, is a strong growth market and it has been and continues to be, and it does not show any signs of tapering off. And so we continue to believe in Austin as a great real estate market for investors to focus on. And additionally, they target repossessed assets from default loans or defaulted loans, excuse me, allowing them to capitalize on distressed opportunities. So their real estate team has extensive experience in sourcing, evaluating, and managing these types of assets to generate solid returns for investors. In terms of their track record, I want to point out a couple of things here just so you can understand. So, first and foremost, as I mentioned before, this investment has produced consistent returns since its inception in 2018. And you can see in 2018, they started out with the original, equity raises of about $2.3 million. And they have since, over the past several years here have grown that value to over $62 million, which is remarkable in that time period. They've seen almost that hockey stick growth when it comes to the work that they've been doing here. What I also want to point out to you in terms of the performance of Hornet Capital in particular as our investment partner is that they've distributed over $17 million of total distribution over that time frame. They owned 23 and 25.3 million dollars worth of real estate. They have about $92 million of loans that are actively out right now, and that is as a result of having 341 happy investors. And so this is really just a remarkable track record of performance since 2018. And again, part of our process in doing due diligence on our partners is really making sure, that their track record line up with all the great things from the operator that we talked about before in terms of what Brian's experience comes with. That's one thing, but how do the operating partners or sponsors perform? This is something that is really important from us from in terms of our due diligence partners when we're seeking who to bring to our investors. We want to make sure that we're bringing top-notch quality to you. And when it comes to distributions, as I mentioned before, the distributions have you can see over the course of the past several years since 2018 through 2024, consistently delivering distributions to their investors. Last year in 2024, delivering about $4.7 million worth of distributions to their investors, and this is based off of the Hornets dashboard that they provide to us. In terms of loans, when it comes to the loans, what you're seeing here, just in terms of the summary, there are a total of 204 loans that have been originated. The total loans are originated value at about $208 million. That's with 55 active loans. That's 43 unique borrowers with a 13.68% average interest rate for on the funds that they're lending out, and average active loan size of about $1.6 million. So you can see in the chart here the loan funding over the course of the year in their process of lending, and in 2024 lending out about $54.6 million, and so far in 2025, it's early in 2025 where they're continuing their practice, and all of us looking to be able to get involved in this particular type of strategy. And then in terms of the loans in the pipeline, you can see, this is in Q1 2025. They have a few in the pipeline, a little over $5 million, and right now, and will continue to grow throughout the year, so that money that gets deployed ultimately is money that helps to generate that return that we are talking about when it comes to the 9% annually. And when it comes to real estate owned, let's talk a little bit about this. So there's 26 properties owned, that with a monthly rental income of about 60K that is coming in, and that is an estimated value of 25.3 million, as I mentioned on the previous page, about $22.5 million purchase price, and the expected closing costs for these assets, around $2 million, and the estimated equity that is unrealized at this point in time is about 767K. And you can see on the map here that the area that they particularly focus on is in this Austin, Texas market here. However, you do see on occasion they may have some other assets in the DFW market, but again, the which is another great real estate market within Texas, but their core focus is in the Austin, Texas marketplace, which is where we're focused. Some of the sample loans that they have here, and I won't go into everything here, but I will just call out just a couple of things here, just so you can get a sense of what it is we're talking about. So you'll see the property address that is listed here. You'll see the loan amount that has been provided to the particular borrower, the interest rate that they have secured with that borrower, what the construction escrow is, the what the paid interest or prepaid interest are, and then you can see, the actual funding date and the maturity date of the loans, so that they can kind of, everything is very meticulously laid out so that everything is tracked and managed. And you can see that across the various different deal loans that they provided to the different borrowers that they have vetted and are working with on an ongoing basis. This is an example of a case study of a property on 8017 Coon Drive. And this is the executive summary here is where this particular borrower is seeking to build approximately a 4,000 square foot new home on about an acre of land with views and sell it. So it's a nice little, build to sell property. And what's cool about this particular property that they're developing here is that two of the neighboring homes under construction by the same builder are already under contract for 2 million or $2 to $3 million. So that means, they understand this market, and they understand that if they get a solid, they continue to build on this land that they've acquired in this neighborhood, and they have a target construction price for this particular borrower, they can generate a tremendous amount of income for themselves as the borrower, pay off the loans, and ultimately those revenues come to us through Hornet Capital. So this is how this model, in this case, from a development deal, and how that would particularly work. And what you can see, and one other point to mention here, this is the construction is currently at the framing stage. And what's also cool about this is, once they have established relationships with borrowers that have consistently delivered on their promise to, and on their terms, they are able to, generate repeat business. And so this is a repeat performer for Hornet, and they have that established relationship. And now this borrower, who is a home developer in the marketplace, has a solid source of capital to continue to fuel their business and scale it, and deliver needed housing in the market, where people are seeking to live and work. So this is how the system and how the process works. And this is just an example of some of the images that you can see here, with the framing and what the development looks like, from the outer shell to then some of the interior images that are coming up within this particular project as well. So let's talk a little bit about the structure for this. So the Boost Fund. So via our partnership with the sponsor, the total return is 10% annualized. Class A fixed return, like preferred equity. The return to Boost investors, however, is 9% annualized, and the returns reinvested or paid quarterly. The Boost administrative fee is 1%. So that 1% administrative fee is based is to support fund compliance and due diligence work that we do out of transparency here. So in terms of tapping into this particular opportunity, what are the things that you need to know from an investment schedule? So first and foremost, this investment is open now. And so we're accepting applications through our investor portal for those who are interested. So that's step one. You need to know that. And then note that the distributions for this particular investment offering are quarterly with regular quarterly payouts. There is a 1 year hold period. So that's a minimum commitment. As you all know, for those of you who have invested with us before or who are familiar with alternative investing in other deals, such as larger multifamily deals, yes, you may receive certain, quarterly or monthly cash flow distribution, but typically the hold periods is in that 3 to 5 year time period before the property is fully stabilized, the business plan has been executed, and we sell or refinance that property to pay out investors and then move on to the next deal. In this particular case, it's a much shorter time period with a 1 year hold minimum hold for investors looking to be able to put their money to work quickly and then see a nice solid 9% return, total return annually. And this is a flexible option. So, if you're reinvesting, there's no hold. So you can reinvest those funds right back in to this option, or other options that we will have within the fund over the course of the year. So stay tuned for that. And the last thing that I want you to know is that there's no minimum holding period when investing in another opportunity within the Boost Wealth Fund. So that will be something as you see new offerings. Within the Boost Wealth funds that come in throughout the course of 2025, you'll be able to, if you with the capital that you accumulate from this particular investment, you will be able to roll into another investment opportunity of your liking within that fund if that's something that you are interested in doing. And in terms of return projections, let's talk a little bit about this. So when it comes to return projections for members who are just seeking the 1 year investments and then withdrawing your funds and not reinvesting your funds, this again, just for the sake of round numbers and simple math, for a $100,000 investment, we are looking at again at a 9% annual return. And again, those cash flows, as I mentioned before, are being paid out quarterly. So 100K, 9%, return. That's $9,000 annually. And so, at the conclusion, if one were to hold it in this investment for 5 years, as an example, they're seeking, $45,000. They're looking at a $45,000 total, cash flow generated from this particular investment, which is not too bad for a private lending investment opportunity. And then for those investors who are seeking to reinvest their funds within this particular offering year over year. As an example, again, using 100K as simple math, that member's cash flow in year one, is at that 9%, as we mentioned, but then, the 9% rolled over into year two, then you can see the returns continuing to increase over the course of the holding period for those investors who are choosing to roll their funds year over year from the quarterly distribution, or excuse me, from the annual distributions, rolling them into a new year, and keeping those funds active within the investment. They can see a little bit of a greater return over the course of a 5 year holding period. Again, this is just purely for simple math. I just wanted to make sure I can illustrate that for folks. So folks doing that strategy would be able to see about a $56,000 return on their investment over the course of that 5 year holding period. So let's talk a little bit about the investment criteria as we look to wrap up the presentation here in the next couple of minutes. So we're looking at the key investment criteria for our offerings, which are designed for accredited investors only. The minimum, as I mentioned before, is $25,000, which can be made directly using cash funds. However, investors can also use self-directed IRAs or solo 401ks to make their investments. So, for example, one of the strategies that I've often used as someone who having liquid cash in different investments and then also having some retirement savings in a 401k or self-directed IRA and wanting the opportunity to be able to diversify my retirement account, I was able to take a portion of some of my retirement account money, place it into a solo 401k plan that then I can then self-direct into different types of real estate investments. In my case, multifamily, commercial, self-storage, whatever the case may be. So that's just an example of some of the things that you can do when it comes to retirement account investing. And then when it comes to the particular types of one of the particular plans that I explore and that I often use is the EQRP solo 401k in particular, or EQRP stands for Enhanced Qualified Retirement Plan. This allows investments through a specialized retirement account that can get set up for you. And anyone wanting to learn more about that can reach out to me. I can help connect you with the team that helped set up and maintain my EQRP solo 401k. And so these different investment vehicles provide flexibility for accredited investors to participate in our opportunities. So the important thing to note here is that all investors meet the accredited investor requirements, as this is a key criteria for participating. We'll go through the validation process. Once investors have made soft commitments, and then we'll be able to secure all of your documents in the portal for our fund compliance that we must report out to the legal team and to our fund administrators. So these are just the details that I want to make sure that everyone understands. And then finally here, our Boost Wealth Fund investment process, pretty straightforward. But what will take place here is that from the investor portal, you will review the documents, review the PPM or private placement memorandum and the deal documents on our investor portal. And then if what I've said to you this tonight, as well as the materials that you'll review on the investor portal, if all of those things are aligned to you, you talk to your financial advisors, talk to your legal and tax and business professionals to make sure that you could position yourself for success. Then you go ahead and you take that commitment and you review and sign the PPM, and then you'll receive the funding instructions from us in terms of how to wire your funds for this particular investment that we have within the fund. And once we've gone through that process, you'll receive different notifications and requests from our side to verify that you are in fact an accredited investor. And we will again, as I mentioned before, we must capture all of this information for our fund documentation purposes to make sure that we're complying with all of the government regulations. And then once that's done, you'll be able to send the funds via a wire transfer to secure your spot within this particular investment. So with that, I want to share this screen and thank you all for taking the time out to listen to this presentation today about a really cool way, an innovative way to to for real estate cash flow related strategies for you to be able to diversify your portfolio, generate some solid cash flow, while also being able to reduce risk and and sort of limit that volatility outside of the stock market into real alternative assets. And so, for those of you who want to learn more and gain access to our investor portal, you can use your phone or your iPad, scan the QR code on the screen that will bring you to our investor portal sign up screen where you can go and create an account and begin to review some of the documents. And also, there's no commitment at that point in time. It's just purely getting yourself set up there. You can also see what other opportunities we have either coming or online are available in the fund today so that you can get exposed to those things. But this concludes the presentation here. So for those of you watching online, you can also scan this QR code so that you can access the information as well. It again brings you to our investor portal, create all of your information, and I look forward to working with you to helping you on your journey to build your wealth with real estate. So with that, I will end the presentation and thank everybody for joining before we go into the Q&A section. All right. Okay, so the recording has stopped. I want to make sure I take the opportunity to take on any questions that anyone may have before we drop off for the evening. You can type them in the chat if you have them, or if you are not able to come off mute, or you can just take yourself off of mute and ask them. I am not I'm no longer recording in case you're wondering. You're welcome. I'm glad for thank you for the comment and for the compliments. Yes, we spent a lot of time, preparing the presentation to make sure that we can provide everyone with adequate information. And you guys laugh, and you've probably been through it before around how much is too much. And in terms of the information that you want to provide, you want to give people the information that they need to know to make an informed decision. And I know I said a lot today and showed a lot of content. This recording and the actual slide, the materials will be distributed. So there will be an email that I'm going to try and get out over the weekend in between kids' soccer games and basketball games. And I will have this sent out, edited, sent out so that you can leaf through it. And if there are any additional questions that might come up throughout that time, reach out to me, shoot me an email, shoot me a text, give me a call. I'm happy to talk through it with you so that you can have an understanding of that. And then everything, again, will be in the portal as I mentioned before, so that you can have access to everything. So thank you guys for your time and for your engagement. Please do reach out to me. I appreciate everyone taking the time here. I will not keep you any longer. So with that, If there aren't any other questions, I will close out the meeting and look forward to hearing from everybody. And I hope to get you all into this particular investment opportunity, as I think it's a really good, a solid one for folks who are again looking for that cash flow, looking for shorter hold periods, something solid to get into. So please reach out to me if you have any questions. Okay. Have a good night.